Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you guys my project planning update number 1. So if you're interested in seeing how much progress that I've actually made on some of these products, then stay tuned. So you guys, I have an exciting update for you for my update number 1 of my project planning going so far. I'm super excited to share what I have done so far, and of course there's some things that I can still do some work on, but we'll get to that in a minute. One thing that I want to mention first off that's a fail that I will not be doing any further progress on is this Josie Maran Vibrancy Argan Oil Full Coverage Concealer Fluid. If you remember in my original post about this, I said how this one was a little too dark for me and how this one was a little too light, the Pretty Vulgar. And I said I wanted to combine the two in order for me to be able to get some use out of it. Well, I went to go use it for the first time, and look, the doe foot broke off, broke off in the tube, and I'm not going digging, so this is going in the trash. So I'm just gonna take that one off the list. If something in here is eating off the doe foot, that I don't want it under my eyes, so trash. Let's go back in the order like I did before of how I put on my makeup, and we'll go from there. So first of all, let's talk about my brow products. So the brow products I have was the Marc Jacobs that I wanted to work on. You can see I have used quite a bit. I'm actually almost done with it. So I'm so proud of that. It doesn't go up any further. So super excited for that. I actually put down that I've used this, how many times? 9. So 9 usages, and it's already got down that far. And then I used the gel side in conjunction with the brow side. So super excited on the progress of that. And then the other brow product I have was the Gimme Brow by Benefit. And it was in the shade number 4. It looked like it's about to rub off, but it's in shade number 4. I got my notes here to the side because as I was using these items, I was making sure I was trying to keep track of it as much as possible. So in shade number 4, I used it 7 times so far. So in all of my brow products and concealer products, my plan was to use up the items, if you guys want to remember what was my usage goals, but I wanted to use this up. So I've used it 7 times. And then the Kat Von D Super Brow in Medium Brown. I used this one 5 times. So used it some. I'll probably hit this one up more once that Marc Jacobs one run out for sure. And then we go from there to one of the ones that was, what I say, I used that one 5 times. I'm trying to keep track, you guys. So I've used that one 5 times. And then the Makeup by Mario. This is the one that I was like, I haven't done anything with this one, you guys. So it still looks the same. So this is something I still need to work on. Once I get done with the brow products, then I have my eye primer that I was using. It's the Undercover Perfecting Coconut Eye Primer Base from Marc Jacobs. So this one, let's see, I've used this one 16 times. So I need to mark this so I can keep track of where it is, but I haven't marked this item. I did mark a couple of items. So I've used that one 16 times. So, so I'm excited about that. And then my concealers, that was not the fail of the Josie Maran, was the Too Faced. So I did mark where I am with this one now. So I'll keep track of how far I'm getting down in the line with these. But right now, I'm right there where the line is, and this one is in warm sand. Trying to keep this one standing upright so that way I can make sure I get the accurate measurements on it. And then the Pretty Vulgar, so the Too Faced one I used 8 times, and the Pretty Vulgar I used the same because I was mixing the two. So this is where I am with that one. And this one is in the shade Undercover. I'm assuming that's the name. That's what it shows, Undercover. So 8 and 8 on the Too Faced and the Pretty Vulgar concealers. And then we can move on to what I call my single shadows or the onesies. So on my onesies, let's start off with the Marc Jacob ones that I had here. The one in the sequins in Glam Noir and in Glamethyst. So we have those two. So Glamethyst and Glam Noir both, I use 1 time each. Now on the Hourglass Rose one here, is in the shade Smoke. Didn't use it once. Didn't use it once. So this one I haven't used yet. So it's still on my to-do. But all my onesies and single shadows, you guys, I said I wanted to at least get 10 usages out of it. So 1 and 1 out of this one, 0 out of this one so far. And then on the Sydney Grace ones, the Dragonfly, and then we had Flamethrower. Now, you guys, I believe I did Flamethrower in one of my Get Ready With Me's. You can go back and check out the channel. In fact, a lot of the videos that I've done over the last few weeks, I've been trying to make sure I utilize items in here. So if you like any of the looks, they're from a lot of the palettes and things that I'm showing you in here. So Sydney Grace Dragonfly, I used once, and Flamethrower, I used twice. So Dragonfly is this one. It's that little green purple flip to it. It's very beautiful. And then Flamethrower that I used twice is the one that has more of the vibrant purple and green, pink is red. It has a lot of different things going on. Both of these are beautiful. I love wearing each one of those, but so far so good on those. The Natasha Denona Ultraviolet Shadow, I didn't use this one either. So this is another one that I did not get around to using this time around. So I need to make sure I get some use out of that one. So that's still on the list. I still got a year, the rest of this year, you guys. So 10 usages each on these. And I did not get around to my 2 Pat McGrath liquid eyeshadows as well. This one is in Twilight Platinum. So I need to still use that one. It's beautiful shades. And this one was in Cosmic Chartreuse. Show that to you real quick there, so you can see what that looks like. Yeah. So those two I have not used at all. So those three. So out of my singles, the two Pat McGrath ones, the one Natasha Denona, and the one Hourglass, I have not used at all. And I did use these other ones here. So the Marc Jacobs Sequence and the two Sydney Grace liquid eyeshadows. So go a little further. So eyeshadow palettes. I had a usage goal for my Charlotte Tilbury palette of pops. I wanted to try to hit pan on at least one of these shades. And I haven't used this one yet, but I'll show you guys what it looked like. So it's still not used this month. But on the ones that I have 15 usage goals, on my mini Layla, I used this one twice. So I know one of the looks I focused with the neutrals, and then the other look I tapped into the other colors. But this is a beautiful palette. I realized how much I loved it again once I used it those 2 times. And then the cranberry palette, I know I did a get ready with me on this one. So I used this one so far 3 times. So all of these had a 15 usage goal on it. But that is the cranberry palette. Very beautiful palette, you guys. Very beautiful. So my Tom Ford Violet 04 Violet Argentine, I used 4 times. That's what that looks like. Now, I did not realize how beautiful this palette is. It's a very beautiful palette. So if you have this one, if you have any of these, be sure you're pulling them out and using them, because I really did truly realize how beautiful these palettes are from just pulling them out and using them, instead of just letting them sit there and moving on to the next great thing. These are some very beautiful palettes, and I'm glad that I'm doing this series with them so that I can actually get to enjoy them and use them more. So I know some of you guys were following me along in this journey. So tell me in the comments, how are you doing? And if you have any of these palettes and things that I'm going to go over, tell me if you're pulling out and using them like I am. You know, we buy the stuff, we need to use it. So let's move along. The next one that I wanted to show you guys was the Supreme Nudes. And this is the from Artist Couture Supreme Nudes. And this one I used twice. But that's what it looks like. I know one of the looks I focused on using this more cooler section right here on this side, and then I focused more on the warmer side the next time I used it. So, and each time, like this is actually the palette I'm wearing today. So if you want to know what I wore today, I used these 3 shades and this one. So all 4 of these shades is what's on my eyes today. All right, and the Viseart Milieu palette, that's this one, the one that has a little bit more color to it. This one I used once. And then the other one, these are some beautiful blendable shades. That's the regular neutral matte. I used this one 9 times. This has been working very good for when I'm using the single shades. I've used those every time I've used the other single shades. I normally have used that as my crease shades and everything in between. So my Pat McGrath Decadence palette. So this one, my Pat McGrath Decadence, I've used 4 times. And that's what that one looks like. I know I have used What shades have I used so far? I've used these two shades here, and then I've used this one down here, and this one here, and then I use some of the blue here as well. So definitely getting good use out of this one. A couple of times I blended a couple of the shades, so that was nice. But been enjoying this one as well. It's a very, very beautiful palette. And I know a couple of the videos I had this palette on as well. So that is that one. And then the ones, the the Natasha Denona eyeshadow number 10. This one is actually in a, get ready with me as well. This one I've used twice, so I know for sure that I've used these shades over here, and then I use these shades here. They come out with some beautiful looks as well. Enjoyed those looks. And then the other two palettes that is on my list are my Z palettes, where I told you guys I wanted to make sure that I at least got 20 usages out of my Z palettes, so because these hold some of my single shadows. And if any of you are wondering, some of these shadows are from Sydney Grace. Some, I don't think this brand is around anymore, but Makeup Geek, some MAC shadows. So it's a mixture of different ones that are in here. Some Anastasia ones. But anyways, I said I wanted to get at least 20 usages out of these. So out of my purple palette that holds a lot of my purple shades, I used this one twice. And out of my big Sydney Grace palette that just holds a lot of my Sydney Grace and other ones as well, I used this one once. So I'll just give you a reminder of what those look like. So this holds a lot of my green type. So I'll get more usage out of this one for sure as we lean more into the fall, and that one as we're getting more into the spring. But I have pulled for them, like I said, 2 in the purple palette and 1 in the Sydney Grace palette. So that's exciting for those items. So after I get done with my eyes, I normally try to do some type of eyeliner or something. So in the things that I had in the project plan was the liquid eyeliner from Kat Von D in Matte Mattes Brown and Trooper Black. So that's what these were. And so in Matte Mattes Brown, I haven't used this one yet, but in Trooper Black, I have definitely used this one a couple of times. So getting usage out of that. And then let's move along to, let's see here. After I do my eyes, I didn't have a mascara. So then the primers, the Milani primer, I'm low on this. I can't, this is the primer I've been using, the Milani Shield primer. I'm very low on this, guys. So I know probably within the next month or so, this one will be finished up. And then the Farsali one that I had in here, I've used this a couple of times. I do not like the applicator on here. I can tell you that. It's hard for it to squeeze anything up. It does like one little pop whenever you try to squeeze it. I don't like it. So I've been making it work, but at least nothing's breaking off in the container. And the primer essence I had in here that I said I want to finish from the Pat McGrath, I haven't even touched this yet. I need to put it up here and not down in there because these bottles are tiny, so I forget that they're in there. But I am insisting on using these up. They need to go. I don't want to get rid of them just to get rid of them, so I want to use them. All right. So that's the two. The SPFs that I have in here, the Drunk Elephant one, the Physical Defense one, and this Kapari one. I have not used any of those yet, so nothing to report there. My Cover It Fits in the shade G80 foundation. This is where I am with that. Super excited on where I am. It's the Power Play. This is a little light on me, just a tad, so I do have to mix it with another foundation, but it's been working, so I'll get through it. It's not much left in there, so I'll make sure I get through with that. The Say highlighter, I haven't used it all yet, so I haven't used that at all yet. The Cover It Fits highlighter, I marked where it is, but I've only used it once. It's got a nice glitter to it, so if you don't like a glittery highlighter, you wouldn't like it, but because of the coloration and the complexion of this one, it blends into the scale to my skin nicely. It just has a sparkle to it, so I really do like it. It's just, you got to be in the mood for it. So after foundation, we have the contour I have from Nabla. So I told you guys that I wanted to hit Pan and Dune and Soft Revenge, and I've been focusing on Dune more because that's the one. Nope, not Dune more. Soft Revenge more. So if you remember the last picture, the name was still on there, so you can see the name is gone now, so you can tell I've been using it. So I've definitely been using that one. I've used that one 8 times, and this is Dune. I held off on using Dune so much because I know I love this one and this one works well. It was Soft Revenge, the one that I was worried about the most. And I was able to get some usage out of that. So 8 on the one, 9 on the other one. And then for my Makeup Forever Profusion bronzer, this is where we are with that one. So I might have to get the edging from around all of this and press it in the middle because it's starting to get harder around the edging for the brush. I mean, it's still picking it up fine, but I know as it gets smaller, it's gonna be harder for that to pick up. And you know what? I could never find the shade on this one. It just says bronzer compact. So I don't know what the actual shade is on this one. I guess it just say Pro Bronze Fusion, so I don't even know if they still have that one because, you know, Makeup Forever and Sephora redo their items ever so often. And then my Bobbi Brown bronzer in Deep 4. The pan on this one has gotten a little bigger. Looks good. And then on my blush, the Cover It Fits blush that I have in Warm Honey, the dent on that one, the pan on that has gotten bigger as well. All right, so we got that and that. So you guys, one of the things that I've been debating on doing, there is a YouTuber here on named Misty. She is at Misty Pants, and she's part of this group called the Fantastic Ladies, and they come up with different ideas on how to go and use your stuff. And I was really curious about one that she created. I believe it was hers. Let me double check real quick. Let me double check because I don't want to be lying. I don't believe in that. So let's see here. They got quite a few different panning ideas Panning is just when you want to try to use up your items in your collection, and it encourages you to do so in a fun way. And I do like watching some panning channels. And I ran across hers from at Wonderfully Made. If you haven't seen her channel, be sure to check her out. But she's the one that started the one called That's Expensive Project Pan. And I saw one that I wanted to do, a couple of them on there I wanted to do. And yes, this one was created by Misty. So Misty at Misty Pans. This is #colorpan. And this is a project. So let me tell you what it says. It says this is a project that she created to get use out of her large collection of ColourPop, 4-Thread, and Soul products. This is a rolling style project where you pick 3 to 6 items and set your own goals. The only rule is that it must be from the brands above, and monthly updates on the 18th or when you can. So I have decided that I want to do that ColourPan project. I want to join it anyways for the rest of the year. So I'm thinking about, because I haven't used this one in my project pan yet. And this is from the ColourPop line, the Soul. And so this was one of the products that I picked up from her. So one thing you should know about me, one of the companies that introduced me into going outside the box of using the mainstream things, dipping my toe a little bit into the indie stuff, I have to give it to ColourPop. Years ago, I think it was probably 2016, I placed my first ColourPop order, and I tried all the things and I was hooked. I got all the super shot shadows, all the lippy, I was doing it all. So I did accrue quite a number of ColourPop items over the years, but as the years went by, I started circulating some of those items out, giving them to friends and families, especially as I started getting into some of the Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath and other things that I started picking up. But I still have some items from ColourPop that I love and adore, and that I want to get more use out of. And so I'm thinking about moving this one. Or I can keep them in both. You guys tell me, what should I do? You tell me what you think. But I'm thinking about moving this Soul product into that project, so I can make sure that I am using it and get more usage out of it, because I already have the 4 bronzer contour type items in this project. And I put this in here because it's cream and I want to get it used. So I'm thinking about moving it into that one. I will be doing that ColourPan, what is it called? What she calls it, ColourPan project. I will be doing a video about the ColourPan project and showing you what items I did decide to put in there. But I'm thinking about moving this one into that pan, to that project. So you guys tell me, this is what it looks like. It's a beautiful color. It's still very, very creamy. See, it does give me a nice, good bronze for my skin. I just need to use it. And I have not used it yet so far. So I want to get more usage out of that one. So that's enough about that. Let's move on to the next item that I have in here. And that was, let's see you guys, my powders. So my powders I have is my Chanel powder that I had in here in the universal shade. I have not used that one yet at all. And then the Too Faced Born This Way translucent powder, if you can see that. You can kind of see where it is right now. So I have been using this one and been doing very well with it. So hopefully I'll get more progress out of that one. And this chocolate eyeliner. Did I talk about this one already? I thought I did, but if I did not, I have not used this chocolate gel liner yet. So it's still on the list to be used. And then my face palettes, I know I did not talk about these yet. So my Love Glow Cheek Palette. These are the ones that I said I wanted to focus on using the cream sections the most. I want to use the whole palette, but I want to focus on using the creams. I've used these both once so far in here. And then the Bloom palette. This is so beautiful. I thought this was my favorite. I've used this one 4 times. You can tell I'm getting a little bit of a dip going in there. So I've used that 4 times. And then the tan palette, I've also used 4 times. And you know what? I was so afraid of this palette when it first came out. I'm like, it's not going to work for me. It's not. Girl, I've been loving this thing. 4 times. And the last couple of times I used it, I'm like, why haven't I used this thing more? It's so pretty. So my 2 favorites, I think these 2 are neck and neck for me. Out of the 3 that I have, I thought I would like the pink more than the tan, but so far that tan one, I've been loving it. It gives you a nice, like it says, tan highlighted look. All right, you guys, so let's move on to the lips. All right. So MAC Lip Glass and Love Child. Still with us. I've used this. What did I have here? I used that twice. And then the MAC lipstick in Verve. You guys, I measured these now so I can tell you the next update how much I've actually used. But right now, Verve is 1 centimeter above a ½ inch. So that's actually what's on my lips today. And then Rebel is right at the 3/4 of an inch mark. I love this color. Every time I wear it, I get compliments on it. I love pairing it with Current. The lip liner in Current is beautiful. All right, so Makeup Forever M401 Artist Rouge Matte color is at a ½ inch, right at the tip part. So that tip part up there is a ½ inch. And then the Sephora Rouge Matte M11 is at 1/4 of an inch. So I am almost done with this one, you guys. Making good progress. So you guys, that is the progress that I've made on all the items that I put in my 2025 project plan. You tell me, oh, I didn't even tell you the best part. What am I thinking? I got an empty. I did. I finished my Pat McGrath powder, the one in the shade medium. I was saving the best for last and I almost forgot it. But yep, it is done, baby. So I'm excited about that, that it is complete. But you guys tell me, how do you think I'm doing so far? How are you doing so far? You know, digging into these items really made me fall in love with a lot of them. And I'm really appreciative of the fact that I decided to do this. You Bought It, Now Use It series. And starting this channel to encourage me to use my items and have a community of people who have the same feelings. They want to use their items or get ideas on how to use their items. So if you enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up. Comment below if it's any items of these that I've showed you today that is in your personal collection that you're pulling out and using. Or if you got other items in your collection that you've decided to use and use up this year in 2025, be sure to let me know down in the comments. I want to see how you're doing so far. I know a couple of you guys said you was going to follow along, so I'm looking forward to hearing where you are in your progress as well. Like I said, I have several items that I didn't get to touch at all this month, and then some items I use repeatedly. So, and you know, that's part of getting to know yourself and knowing your collection of things, and that can kind of help steer you in the right direction in the future when you see something that you might be interested in. You know, asking your question, is that something I'm going to use or really going to enjoy using, or is it just something that's, you know, part of the hype at the time? So thank you guys so much for joining me today and watching along, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.